All warmed up now?
No. Hey everyone, welcome to the show where I don't know how to string my sentences together. It's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
And this is our month of looking at Christmas horror films. And it is Christmas Day, or Christmas Eve, whenever this goes up. And this is probably the biggest Christmas horror film ever. This is the one that I think when most people think of Christmas horror films, this is one that they go to, which is weird considering that the previous two films we talked about this month were literally Christmas horror films, whereas this one can be set at any time of the year. This one does not have to be at Christmas, outside of the fucked up Phoebe Cates story in here. That one kind of needs to be in there, but I think they even made a joke in the second one about Lincoln's birthday lining up with another tragic memory that she has. Which we'll get to that in a moment, but I will just say, in the second film, when they make that joke referencing the story that I'm talking about right now, it feels like they were turned to the camera just going, yeah, we don't know what the fuck we were doing with that story in that first film. That was wild, man. That was not what we probably should have put in that movie. So, this is Gremlins that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, it's been a few weeks since we saw this. In fact, we actually saw this before we watched Krampus and Black Christmas. However, I could probably review this film even without going back and rewatching it. I will forget my wife's face before I forget Gremlins, and I say that with my wife standing right here.
I guess I had to put a gizmo mask on every now and then to remind you.
Yeah, for midnight and a big cocoon. Yeah. I grew up on Gremlins. I love the hell out of this film, especially the second one, but we're not talking about the second one today. We'll save that for a special occasion. But yeah, this film, I don't know if it's just the sense of humor. I don't know if it's the creativity behind it. There's just something about this entire franchise that speaks to me. What's your history with Gremlins?
I knew about it as a kid. I didn't really watch a lot of it, though.
Was it like one of those things that came on TV and you saw like a bit of it here and there?
Yeah, plus one of my friends had a toy car with Gizmo in it, so...
Okay. I remember that one, yeah. I never had that one, but yeah. It's weird. As much as I love Gremlins, I own, no Gremlins merchandise, at all. I was looking for a Gremlins shirt, and I realized, I don't even own a Gremlins shirt. What the hell? I guess the thing is kind of close, because we're all very tired and no one trusts anyone. Wait, is that the quote that's on the...
Yes, it is.
Oh my god.
Yes, it is.
I didn't realize that quote was on the shirt. Guess we have to review that film now. Oh no, I have to review one of the best horror films ever. Yeah, so I need to get some Gremlins merch. I really would love to one day own an actual prop from one of these movies. Even if it's a small thing, I would treasure that thing. Anywho, so yeah, this film, again, I don't know what it is about this film, just something about it speaks to me. But for anybody out there who has not seen Gremlins, and you want to know what the plot of this is, it starts off with this man named Randall Peltzer. And he's got this real, blue-collar vibe to him.
Yeah, he's, an inventor, but, a blue-collar inventor.
That tells you everything that you need to know about him, that the guy refers to himself as an inventor, and nobody actually refers to themselves as an inventor when they're running, a big, massive company that's pumping stuff out. No, you call yourself an inventor when you're tinkering with stuff in your garage. And yeah, he just has that vibe of, Midwestern dad who he's trying to start up his small business.
Yeah.
You just instantly kind of like this guy. And he's in Chinatown, and this kid takes him into their shop, and he's looking around for something. He's even trying to sell the guy who owns the place some of his wacky inventions. And then he spies this little animal called a mogwai. And he's like, I have to get this. My kid would love this. And the shop owner says, no, they're not for sale. But then the little kid, which it just occurred to me right now, we never know what happened to that little kid. Because he's not in the second one. We know what happened to the old man in the second one. We don't know what happened to the little kid in the second one. I know they're talking about doing a third one now. They're finally talking about doing a third one. It's kind of controversial because nobody knows how much Joe Dante is going to be involved in this. And this is Joe Dante's franchise.
Yeah.
He loves the hell out of this franchise. But at the same time, Joe Dante is 90 or something at this point. I'm yeah, he might just not have it in him to direct a feature-length film anymore.
Was he did he take any part in like the Gremlins animated series?
I think he was a producer, but
Quote
producer.
unquote, yeah.
That's one of those things which is like, listen, man, do we have your blessing? Cool, great. We get to slap your name on the label, and that means that like we get some credit on this. Considering it's a cartoon, I wouldn't be shocked if he did actually have some say in it because he loves the hell out of cartoons.
Oh yeah.
Very obvious when you get to know him.
Like it's like very much in like
the second one.
Yes.
The second one was when so Joe Dante directed this, but Steven Spielberg produced it. And this film feels like a meshing of their two minds.
Yeah, it's definitely.
This feels like you just took both their personalities and shuffled them together like a deck of cards. It merges so well. You get to see both sides of both their personalities in here.
Yeah, like the whimsy of Spielberg's films and the humor in Joe Dante's films.
Yeah, there's even a moment in here in which you see like a collection of stuffed animals, and one is E.T. and one is Bugs Bunny. It's like, yeah, that's it. That's the film right there. That's those two guys meshing together. The second one is just Joe Dante. Mm-hmm. And oh my god, it is so different. But in like the best way. That is when they just let that man off the chain and he just went for it. I really want to know what's going to happen with that third one. But anyway. So the little kid, after the old man says, no, you can't have the Mogwai, the little kid meets him in the alley and brings out the Mogwai and goes, here, take it. He's like, but your grandfather says I can't have it. And he's like, listen, my old man, he doesn't know what he's even doing with this business anymore. We need to make some money. Take the Mogwai. Which I kind of like that Randall Peltzer like is kind of like, are you sure that I should take this? He's not like corrupt in any way.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, I need the official okay that it's all right for me to do. It's like, yeah, it's small things like that give personality
like
to characters.
He's like a very humble and modest person, like very down to earth, very like
down to earth is a good word for it. Yeah.
Like even like when he like explains like the rules to his family about about Mogwai and everything.
That's something that I like, is that there are rules about the Mogwais, and the little kid tells him these rules. At no point does he have that feeling of like, oh yeah, I wasn't really paying attention. It's like, no, this little kid told me these are important. We need to remember these are important. Like, yeah, he definitely seems on paper like the kind of guy who would probably screw this up because he didn't think it was important. It's like, he said don't feed him after midnight, but it's 12:05. I'm sure it's fine. No, he actually goes, this person told me these rules were important. I take that seriously. Like, I like that. It's a very small thing, but I dug it. So he brings him back home, and his son, Billy, is a banker. And man, you talk about the Spielberg influence in here. This is like in love with that small town Americana that Spielberg is all about. I love that entire sequence of them just going through the town in the beginning because it just feels like such a small town. And every single person in this town is a personality, they're a character. And there's this old lady who Billy's dog got into her yard and messed up her snowman, and she goes into the bank where Billy works, and she's just telling him off.
By the way, like, snowman isn't like an actual decoration, not like one made out of snow. I don't think she would be pissed off about that, but yeah.
She seems like she'd be pissed off about everything. Like, honestly, that's her personality, yeah.
Yeah, like, basically, yeah.
Yeah, but she goes in there, and she's like, I'm gonna get that dog of yours, and I'm
literally like the Wicked Witch of the West.
She's very much, yes. But she is flat out like, I'm going to kill that dog. Give the dog to me, and I'll make it painless. Otherwise, I'll call some people who won't make it painless. Like, she is just bloodthirsty for this dog. She just wants to kill an animal. And the other people in the bank, again, all of them, just no matter how small their role is, they have a personality. Like, Judge Reinhold is in there. And it's so weird to, like, dig deeper into the messages of this film. Because, like we said, this film is just, like, oozing with that small-town Americana. But this was made in 1984, and Judge Reinhold's character is completely meant to represent that idea of the 80s greed and just like the 80s businessman that's taking over small town America. Because he even has like a line in here. I don't remember the exact line, But it's a line like, listen, times are changing. You gotta catch up with this. And like, you watch that and you completely understand what they're saying. This is a film about, okay. The entire film is not about this. The entire film is about Gremlins. But his character, just this one little line, you could tell it was like frustration from people in the 80s of like, man, all these big corporate fucks are kind of ruining everything.
And they still are.
They still are, yeah. This was the beginning of that. And it's very interesting today to look back at that. And it's like, man, y'all could have just taken out Judge Reinhold and solved all these problems. I should probably bleep that. But yeah, it's very interesting going back and watching that and just being like, man, it's interesting seeing like, not to get too deep, but seeing like the capitalist hellscape that we live in today and being like, man, that's back when it was like one guy on the block and it was like, man, I'm the future that's coming in. We're living in the future just like, oh, fuck, man.
That guy ruined everything.
Y'all didn't stop Judge Reinhold. Judge Reinhold was probably a very nice person. So Billy wants to be an artist. He has been working on his own little comic strips. And again, the entire beginning of this film is just establishing the supporting characters within this town. Like, he's got a love interest in there, Kate, who is played by Phoebe Cates, who I will unabashedly say, I had the biggest crush on Phoebe Cates when I was a kid. Like, I think that might have been my first celebrity crush. Yeah, I really was a fan of Phoebe Cates when I was a kid. But there's also Dick Miller. You can't have a Joe Dante horror film without Dick Miller in it. And Dick Miller he's that guy who is like, again, talking about the subtle political themes in here, his entire, Dick Miller's character is all about like, can't trust all those foreign parts out there. It's like, this guy seems a little bit problematic.
There are some things in this movie that did not age all that well.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I don't even want to say it didn't age all that well because I think you were at the time supposed to look at him and be like, oh man, come on. Yeah, I think he is meant to be like that small town guy who's like,
back in my days.
Very much. That's the good way of putting it, yes.
The back in my days guy.
The only reason why you look at that and be like, oh man, that didn't age well, rather than going like, oh, that's how they wanted you to look at this guy, is because he's played by Dick Miller, and it's very hard to look at Dick Miller and not like him. Like, the guy is one of the most likable guys in the history of film. So he gets to the Mogwai, and they explain to him the rules. The 3 rules of a Mogwai are: don't feed them after midnight, don't expose them to sunlight,
and don't get them wet.
Yes, thank you. And don't get them wet. And the Mogwai is this little tiny, it's like a teddy bear with bat wings almost.
Bat ears.
Bat ears, yeah, sorry. That's the second film. Yeah, but like bat ears and almost like a monkey mouth. It's a very interesting design. Mm-hmm. It's weird that as much of a fan as I am of these films, I've never heard an interview about the design of Gizmo.
I guess they're like, what's the cutest little critter design we could possibly come up with?
It's also very 80s because I'm thinking of like back in the 80s, there were like the Munchie things, like those little like monkey things. It's like, yeah, there were just a lot of things that people thought were cute that looked like that back in the day. I wonder what the first of them were that just kind of like spread out. For anybody who doesn't know what a Munchie is, it was the Labubu of the 80s. It kind of was. Yeah. But yeah, so he gets this little thing, this little, not gremlin, Mogwai, and it's just this chill little animal. It gets along with the dog, gets along with the family. It's just the most likable little animal that you could possibly imagine.
Like, it's more like a little like having like a friend than a pet.
Exactly, yeah. And then one day, this little kid played by, who was it that played it? Corey Feldman. And I knew it was one of the Coreys. I keep getting them mixed up. Corey Feldman came over, and this is that like small town Americana of just like, yeah, the little paperboy kid just hangs out with the 20-year-old artist guy. No, that's not weird at all. But he comes over, he's just reading comics up there. And I can't help but laugh that Corey Feldman's character sees the Mogwai, this brand new creature he's never seen that can actually talk. He's like, yeah, that's all right. Anyway, these comics that I'm reading, does that always kind of crack me up? But he ends up getting Gizmo wet.
Yeah, because Billy is an artist, he has like paints and paintbrushes and Pete accidentally knocks over water and a jar of water that he
which is the exact way that Gizmo gets wet in the second film too. I find that very interesting. But so what happens after it gets wet is all these little bubbles start forming on its back and they start popping off. And once they pop off, they then quickly grow into other Mogwais. Mm-hmm. And they look at them like, oh wow, okay, what could this possibly mean? Could we sell these as pets? What do we do with this? But becomes clear very soon, the other Mogwais aren't like Gizmo.
No.
Gizmo is sweet and wholesome and friendly and everyone loves him. The other Mogwais, they bite, they make a mess, they treat Gizmo like crap. Yeah, they're ruffians. The leader of the group is one called Stripe and it's got a mohawk. Mm-hmm. That lets you know what they're like. I will say, I do kind of hate that the other Mogwais, aside from the one with the mohawk, they all look just like Gizmo. They look exactly like him. That's one thing that I definitely think the second one did way better than this one, is that when you see the other Mogwais, each of them have a personality, each of them have a unique design. I think that is much better than it is in this one.
Yeah, honestly, in this one, the other Mogwais seem more like a hive mind than...
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah.
There's just Stripe, and then there's the other ones. That's it. So they chill with these Mogwais for a couple days. They're making a mess in the place, but they're not causing too much harm. But then one day they end up getting fed after midnight. They trick them into thinking that it's still 11:30 or something. They feed all of them after midnight, and then they wake up the next day and they're all in cocoons.
Yes, but not Gizmo. He did not.
Gizmo was a good one.
Nah,
yes, Gizmo was nice.
Billy even offered him food. It's nope, I'm good, thank you.
Which that's exactly how he said it. Just yeah. This is very sweet. By the way, for anybody who doesn't know, Gizmo was voiced by Howie Mandel, which I know a lot of people. I don't even know what. I think most people these days know Howie Mandel from not Deal or No Deal. What's the one that he's on now? America's Got Talent. I think he's on America's Got Talent. Yeah, I think most people know from that. Most people don't know that Howie Mandel used to be a stand-up comic, and he was a wacky stand-up comic. He did all these voices. He had a whole bit where he took a surgical glove and put it over his head and just started blowing it up with his nose. He was out there. But he was famous for doing this little boy voice, and that even got him a show, Bobby's World, where he essentially played this little kid, Bobby, doing the little kid voice.
It's a cartoon, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I should have pointed that out. But that's also what got him the role as Gizmo, is that was basically just, hey, just do the little kid voice, but just don't say words. So they wake up the next day and these cocoons have formed. And this isn't even the only cocoons that they have to worry about, because they also took one of them. Yeah,
they took one of them to their biology teacher.
Which, again, is another, small town touch that I love. That was we need to study these things. Who do we go to? The science teacher. That's all we got.
Yeah, it's not like we can go to, a giant, factory or
they didn't even, go to a university or anything where, they might have a lab or something. They had to go... It wasn't even a high school. It was a middle school.
Yeah,
because Corey Feldman's character was in the class.
Yeah, it's very small towns. What else could you do?
I love that charm. Because, I grew up in a small town. And I remember writing sci-fi stories when I was a kid where all this sci-fi stuff would happen in a school, because I was like, dude, I don't know where you go to study this stuff. It's school, that's it. I love that little touch. It does feel very small town. So they take the Gremlin to the scientist teacher, and he ends up accidentally feeding him after. Well, no, he doesn't even do that.
He leaves out food by accident, and he grabs it.
Grabs out of the cage, yeah. And so this other little Mogwai also transforms into a gremlin. That's what was happening to them, which, man, the effects on those cocoons are so gross. You just get the feeling like you'd never be able to clean them up fully. They probably stink to high heaven. Like, there's a moment which the one that was at the school was in a little tiny cage, and it forms the cocoon in the cage, and it just looks like the cage is warped around this big gooey pod. It's just so gross. But eventually they hatch. And they hatch into these big, scaly green monsters.
Well, bigger. They're not... Yes.
They're like the size of a chimpanzee.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
and just as
is
destructive.
Big enough. Yeah, exactly. It's big enough. And I believe the first one we even see is at the school, right? It's when he's in the school and like the one like flings the door open.
Oh yeah, like we don't really see the gremlin itself.
You get like little like shots of their arm coming out.
Or like a shadow in the background or something like that. And then like even like the kill like was kind of off screen, like or like from a point of view.
Man, I feel so bad for that guy. There's only like 2 deaths in this entire movie, and this poor guy, he was there just to die. I hate when that happens to a character. But yeah, like the reveal of the first one, when he's just creeping around the place, you have no idea what's coming up, and then it just like pops out of like the cupboard. Oh, I love that reveal. It's so good. So yeah, these things, they're just little tiny monsters that are just there to mess with you. And this is when the Joe Dante part of the film comes into play. Because Joe Dante loves Looney Tunes. This film becomes a Looney Tunes cartoon.
In fact, like Chuck Jones actually makes a cameo in this movie.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah, Chuck Jones, there's like a scene at the bar where Billy is drawing, and there's just some guy there who goes, oh, that's a nice drawing. That's Chuck Jones, one of the most legendary Looney Tunes directors of all time.
Kind of makes me wish that the animated series was drawn in Chuck Jones' style.
It would have been so good, yeah. It kind of makes me wish that was drawn, period. Because, that cartoon is fine. It does not look good. It looks very cheap, I will say that. From there, it just becomes a sequence of basically the gremlins just fucking with people. Like they trash the entire house, and Billy's mom has to take almost all of them out. And it is surprising what a badass she is.
Like she knows her way around the kitchen. Like
yeah, she is like stabbing these things, baking them in a microwave,
blending them in the blenders. Like,
and it's honestly jarring seeing how much she is able to take these things down. But I knew that when we watched it this time. It's like I knew, like, yeah, man, she's a total badass. She takes these things out. I was watching her before this. She is far more competent than I remember. Like, the dad, I remember being, like, a goofy mess-up. But I always remember the mom just being, like, you know, she's just baking the entire time and stuff like that. But, like, when you watched it, she definitely has this vibe of, like, listen, I know I married this guy who he's got his dreams and he's doing his thing, but I know he's also a weirdo. I'm going to hold shit down.
Yeah,
like,
she's the one who holds down the fort.
Yeah, she definitely, you get the feeling she's the one who makes sure the house is still standing every single day. It's like, all right, yeah, you get the vibe that she is a very competent individual. She's very mature. So yeah, I have a much bigger appreciation for the mom this time watching this film. But they're able to take out each of the gremlins aside from Stripe. And Stripe makes his way to the community pool and jumps inside, and then they just multiply. Like, Gizmo split into, like, 5 gremlins.
Just from, like, a splash of water.
Yeah.
So imagine how many gremlins are when you jumps into an actual pool.
And, man, the effects on that scene are so good. Because, like, you don't see a bunch of gremlins coming out. You just see the pool start to light up and bubble.
Yeah, and like, this fog and everything just...
You just get that feeling of, like, someone opened the Necronomicon or something. Like, oh, man. Stuff is going on outside. Gremlins are out there, everybody. Sorry. But yeah, it just gives you that feeling of like, oh, shit's fucked. We're in trouble. It's a great way of shooting that. And from there, it's just a sequence of this small town that they've spent the majority of this film setting up. Like giving you all the different characters in town, showing you all the different locations.
And just destroying it.
They do all that so they can show you the gremlins wreaking havoc. Excuse me. And there's so many sequences in there where, again, Joe Dante is the Looney Tunes fan in here, and there's so many moments in here where it just feels like he was allowed to go off.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there's the bar scene in here is famous. And if memory serves me correct, it's been a while since I've watched the documentary on the making of this, but if memory serves me correct, they had to get, like, not only every single puppeteer on deck for that sequence. I don't even think they had everything planned out. I think that they were literally coming up with gags as they were making that scene, because they were like, we just gotta keep adding stuff. Just keep adding stuff. We'll figure out what's best when we're in the editing sequence. So literally, like, tons of the things that you see in there, they were having to come up with that stuff on the fly. There's certain things in there, like, there's a gremlin doing, like, 80s dancing and, like, leg warmers. Like, clearly that was planned because you had to make the leg warmers.
Yeah, but then there's, like, one scene, like, where a gremlin is doing a puppet show, and it's like, that definitely feels like improvised.
That definitely feels like they were like, I don't fucking know, man. Come on, just think of something. Yeah, that is the best example of that. I'd say that probably, like, the entire, like, poker sequence might have also been improv, because, like, the only thing in there that they really needed was a gun. They're on the Warner Brothers lot. They definitely had access to that. So yeah, I love that entire sequence in there. And then Phoebe Cates ends up joining up with them, and they have to with Billy, and then Billy, Phoebe Cates, and Gizmo have to figure out a way to save the town. And I feel like that's probably as far as we should go without getting into the spoiler section on here, because we revealed a lot about what's going on in this film. However, this is one of those films where even if you know every single thing that happens in the movie, the charm of it and just the imagination of it and just the way that Joe Dante shoots everything, I could just fully spoil this thing, and it's still an incredibly enjoyable film. I think that the characters are incredibly likable, incredibly memorable. I think that the Gremlins themselves are amazing creations. They're incredibly fun. All the different gags in here are great. Like I said, that small town vibe just gives this film so much heart.
And just like all the practical effects.
It's just practical effects are. I think there's only like one special effect in here, and there's a sequence of it's the first time that you see the mob of gremlins. And it's claymation of them, like, walking out. That doesn't look all that great, but the rest of, like, all the practical effects, all the puppeting stuff in here, it was so good. Yeah, anything else that you want to add before we give our scores?
No, not really.
Yeah, it's Gremlins. It's one of those things where it's just like, do you guys not know what Gremlins is?
Like, even, like, Jack in the Box this year, like, made, like, a special, like,
oh
Gremlins.
my god, you're right! There's no Jack in the Boxes. Do Jack in the Boxes even exist in New York?
No, it's mostly like a West Coast
thing. Kind of a West Coast thing.
Yeah.
We had them down in North Carolina, too, when I was growing up down there.
New
England, yeah.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
That sucks. I would have loved to try it.
That's so weird just to think that... Because it's not even like, well, okay. Like I said, they are making that new movie, and Warner Brothers is weird, because Warner Brothers is one of those studios where they will lock shit in the vault for the longest time, and then they'll get desperate enough to bring it back out, but they won't just go like, test the water on that. They'll be like, everybody is into this now. Everybody's talking about this thing. So yeah, I definitely feel like that wasn't Jack in the Box reaching out to them. Warner Brothers was probably like, somebody's doing a Gremlin burger this year. We made an animated series, we're making a new movie, something's going down with Gremlins. Listen, we screwed up everything else that we have. We're getting desperate. We're getting to that point where we're bringing back Gremlins. So yeah, I give this I want to give it an A, but I know my feelings about the second one.
So why not give the second one an A+?
Because I feel like the distance between the second one and this one are like that. That's the only thing, is that I'm like, to me an A has to be close to A+, and I'm just like, god damn.
A- then?
No, I'll do it. I'll go A.
Okay.
I will go A, because if I didn't have that second one to compare it to, then I would still give this an A.
Yes, I'd also give it a solid A.
Yeah.
It's like, very good movie, fun to watch.
It's an incredibly fun film. Yeah, if you've never watched Gremlins, it is one of my highest recommendations. And also, it is a film, listen, we're talking about horror films on here, you can't really watch those with the whole family. Gremlins is a film that maybe little kids might not like it, but if the youngest person in your family is like 10, this is an amazing film for the entire family. I think this is like probably one of the best Christmas theme. It's not even Christmas theme. Let's be honest. This could, like I said, this could take place at any time of the year. Okay. Now that I think about it, the Phoebe Cates story might off-put some younger people.
Yeah. So.
I just remember that. Okay. If the youngest person in your family knows the truth about Santa Claus, then you can show them this film. If they don't know, don't show them this film. Yeah, we should talk about that Phoebe Cates story before we get...
that is literally the elephant in the room.
Yeah, we should talk... The rotting, stuck in the walls elephant. Yeah,
that was messed up.
We should... Yeah, that's... Okay.
So, like, basically, like...
We'll get into spoiler parts now. We're in the spoiler section here.
Like, Billy loves Christmas and everything. Kate does not. And we find out later why that is.
And it is so bizarre because this is at, like, the peak of the gremlin invasion. They're all over the town. They're, like, attacking the cops, which, by the way, if you ever watch a film with me, I always have to apologize because I am that guy who goes, "Oh, that guy from that thing, who is that? Who is that guy?" The deputy, when they go to the police, the deputy in there, I just saw like his nose and heard his voice, and I went, "Is that the guy from Breaking Bad?" I don't remember the character's name, but he was the bald guy who everybody turned into that meme about screaming at Elon Musk about Twitter. God, I don't remember his name. I've never actually seen Breaking Bad, but I know that this guy was from there. But yeah, Walter, I think. No,
Walter White? No.
Walter White was Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
But yeah, the older, angry, bald guy in there. Yeah, I looked at him and went, "Is that guy?" And sure enough, it was. I've never seen him with hair. I've seen him in many different things, but I've never seen him with hair. But anyway, Gremlins are invading everywhere. They were just in Phoebe Cates' bar, ripping the place apart. They're all over the city. And then Billy mentions how much he loves Christmas and everything while they're in a house with no electricity and it's freezing.
No, it's like, no, she says, "Now I have another reason to hate Christmas."
That's what it was. That's what it was, yes.
Yeah.
And then he finally asks her about it. And then she goes into this long story where the camera's just slowly zooming in on her. It's like, it feels like if they thought they were going to get a nomination for an Oscar, they want something they could put up there for Phoebe Cates' clip. It's that kind of a speech. And it just takes this long time of her just talking about how her father went missing on Christmas. And then a couple days later, they started to smell something. They called over the fire department thinking that they had like a dead animal stuck in there.
In the chimney. And it was her father in a Santa outfit. He was going to come down the chimney. He broke his neck and got stuck in there and was there for days. And it is, again, I'm giving you the short version. It is a long monologue about this. If you're in an acting class and you want a monologue to pull out for your big performance, this is one you could definitely go for. And the craziest part is not just even that this is the time when she decides to tell that story. It also keeps cutting to Gizmo over there, just like, It's like, I don't think Gizmo understands what she's talking about. Like, I think he does, like, because, like, I think he, like, kind of gasps a bit, but,
yes,
like,
you're right.
I think they deliberately cut to Gizmo because it's such a heavy topic. It's like, here's a cute little animal to cheer you up, okay?
This goes back to the Gizmo, like, Jesus!
It's like, holy fuck!
Yeah, basically. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is. It's such a weird sequence in there. But after that, they have to get rid of all the gremlins, which, by the way, some of the highlight sequences of the gremlins in town, the gremlins going and grabbing Dick Miller's tractor and plowing into his house with it. And
it was a snowplow.
Snowplow, that was it, snowplow.
Yeah.
I remember it was a cat, but I was like, okay, that could be a dozen different things. Yeah, and I remember that apparently he was supposed to die in that sequence, but they liked him so much they decided to bring him back for the sequel. And watching the film this time and thinking about that, I was like, oh yeah, he's never seen after this.
No.
Wow, yeah, and also he's far more likable in the second film. In the first film, like we said, he was supposed to be that guy who's like, oh, hey, yeah, you don't like foreign things. Oh, okay, yeah, like that's what he's supposed to be, like that guy in town that's like, oh yeah, it's that guy, all right. So when we get the sequence of the Gremlins attacking him, it was kind of supposed to be cathartic, but it wasn't cathartic because it's Dick Miller and everyone likes Dick Miller.
What was cathartic is the Gremlins attacking the old lady.
That was the other sequence, and that one works perfectly. That sequence is great. Yeah, them messing around with her electric chair.
That goes up.
That goes up the stairs, and where she just goes flying out the window. That was so good. And yeah, I also really like that sequence because the term gremlins comes from back during, I don't know, I think it was World War I actually.
Yeah, something like that. Like,
Yeah.
basically, like, back then it's like, oh, these creatures, like, they will get into your plane, like, tear things up, and that's how the planes crash and everything. And
Mhm. Yeah, so to see these gremlins messing with electrical equipment, I was like, oh, it's that thing.
it all ties together.
They're doing the thing that gremlins do. Hey, okay, I like that. So at the end of this, I love that the answer to this is kind of a Deus Ex Machina, but it works, so you don't really care, because they need to get rid of all the gremlins at once, and they're infesting the entire town. How do you do that? The gremlins all just decide that they really want to go to the movie, so they all just cram into one place.
Yeah, and they all watching Snow White.
And yeah, I think the reason why this works so well is because they're watching Snow White. Because the fact that you would not expect them to watch that, but then you cut to all the gremlins, just like dozens and dozens of puppets filling up a theater.
And they're all singing hi-ho.
Exactly. Something about that makes you go, why am I questioning this? Yeah.
This is silly.
Of course the gremlins would all want to watch Snow White and they'd all be singing along to it. Of course that makes sense.
Even Gizmo was humming to it a bit.
I love that. That's so good. And I love that there's also kind of a callback to that in the second film. We'll talk about that one day. Yeah, they end up blowing up the theater and they take out all of the gremlins at once. Except for Stripe.
He's the one who always keeps getting away.
And Stripe then goes into a department store.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's the word. And he has this whole throwdown with Billy where he's just chucking shit at him. And there were moments where I was freezing this and going back frame by frame on. I'm like, did they actually just throw a saw blade at Billy? Yeah, like I had to double check some of these things on here. But yeah, Billy's getting tons of shit just chucked at him. And I love that, again, it almost feels like this sequence is improv in many ways. It was they're like, what else can we do in here? What else can we throw at Billy? So they have to do something. I'm sorry, I'm just now remembering when Gizmo is driving the car.
Yeah, like we said back at the introduction, like I had a friend who had a Gizmo remote control car.
Yeah, there's a sequence in which Gizmo has to go in there and save the day and rescue Billy. And so he's driving this little toy car. But also it then cuts to Gizmo and you hear, like, I don't remember the movie.
Yeah, but it's like a quote from the movie that Gizmo was watching before.
Yeah.
About racing and everything.
Yeah, it was like a James Dean racing film or something in the beginning of the film. And he's talking about, like, and it cuts to that, and Gizmo just has, like, that scene going over his head. I don't know why. I love the hell out of that. And they call back to that again in the second film. But they go to even further links with it. I will say one thing that I did not like about this sequence though is that the sun's coming up, so you know, like that's one of the things that like the gremlins are weak to. But you also, his dad has been out of town.
Yeah, like an inventors convention.
Which, like, that is a Joe Dante scene right there. Because at the inventors scene, you see him calling his wife, like, yeah, the competition's a little bit stiffer than I expected to be. And you see, like, Robbie the robot going in the background. Mm-hmm. You see, like, the H.G. Wells time machine back there. Like, all right, that's one of those sequences in which Joe Dante was just allowed to go off. Like I said, everything in the second half of this film feels like Joe Dante had the majority of control on. So, one thing that I don't really like about this sequence, though, is that he's got the dog with him, too. And you see him driving up, and he's like, what the heck happened in this town? And then he sees the department store, and his dog just can sense that his master is in trouble, and he jumps out the window to go right into the department store help, and the dog never does anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
guess the dog is supposed to lead the dad to Billy or something like that.
But like everything is resolved by then at that point. Yeah, that's something that I never thought about until this time watching the film. That wait a minute, the dog did nothing. Yeah, the dog just runs in there and it's like, oh, the dog's gonna like attack.
The dog did not die. That's what he did.
Yeah. But yeah, the dog goes running in there, and you expect the dog is going to rescue Billy from Stripe, or something like that. The dog gets there after everything's resolved. Like, there's even a sequence in which it feels almost like the film is making fun of the idea of the dog helping, because the dog is like looking for Billy, and then Gizmo in the car drives past and freaks the dog out. Which I don't even think they trained the dog to do that. I think the dog just saw the little toy in the car and freaked out by itself. But yeah, so that's one thing that did kind of bug me watching it this time. It's like, oh yeah, they set it up for the dog to do something, and the dog didn't do anything. But they go in there.
I guess it's because they wanted Gizmo to be the hero,
exactly.
Which makes sense, you know.
Exactly, but it's like, I feel like you could have done both things. I don't know.
Well, Gizmo riding the back on the dog?
Maybe. More like, maybe like Stripe is like on top of Billy, about to like, you know, stab him with a knife or something, and then the dog comes up and like barks at him and freaks Stripe out, and he runs off or something. You know, something like that. But yeah, Stripe goes into the gardening section, he finds a little fountain, he puts his finger into it, like he starts bubbling up like he's about to multiply again. Then Gizmo jumps in, opens up the blinds, and then we get to see what happens when they're exposed to sunlight. And the dude just melts. Mm-hmm. Like, this is that moment in here in which it feels like, oh, you guys were going for that PG-13 rating, huh? Isn't this, actually, wait a minute, wasn't this the movie that actually created the PG-13 rating?
I think it might have.
I think it was, because, yeah, I used to know this, but I'm forgetting it now for this review when I need to know it most. But yeah, I remember hearing stories that the PG-13 rating was created because this got PG, and parents were like, that's a little too scary for our kids. Which is weird to think about these days, that I'm like, this is totally a PG film. This is fine. But this sequence here at the very end and the Phoebe Cates story are the two moments in which I'm like, yeah, might be a little bit too graphic, because this dude melts. Hey.
Peach, what's wrong?
What is it, buddy?
What is it? Our little gremlin is acting up.
We're just talking about gremlins, buddy.
Peach!
Have a bad dream? Alright. But yeah, it is jarring seeing like how graphic they go. It looks like something out of a Sam Raimi film.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the end of this film, the old man who owned the Mogwai in the beginning, the old Chinese man, comes back. He finds the place, and he takes the Mogwai back and says, like, yeah, I saw what happened over here. You guys are not responsible enough to own a Mogwai just yet. But he does turn to Billy and go, and like, Gizmo says bye to Billy, and the old man is like, maybe one day you'll be ready. And then he just disappears into the night. And we have now seen the, what's it, wanna get up here, buddy?
Hey, Peach.
Shut up, buddy. I was waiting for the dog to stop panting, but that's not gonna happen. So you're probably just you're gonna hear this every now and again. Yeah. You guys can probably hear that. Oh wait, can I see it on the little audio levels?
Not really.
No, okay, alright. Yeah, maybe you can't hear it then. But yeah, as I was saying, we've now seen the Gremlins animated show. We watched the first season. I know there's a second season. We haven't watched that one yet, but we did watch the first season. And in that, they reveal that gremlins are mystical, which I will admit, at first, I was kind of like, I don't really like the magical side of this. But then when you start thinking about the whole, like, feed them after midnight thing, I was like, midnight exists at every time. It's midnight somewhere, everywhere. So, yeah, that never makes sense. So it kind of has to be magic. But there's a moment in which they're talking about the origins of Mogwais and how they were a gift from the gods, but they gave them those rules to see if man was worthy of having these Mogwais, and they proved that mankind is not worthy of having them because they always mess things up. And so I do kind of like, the little kid in the Gremlin show is the old man, in the Gremlin movies. So I do, knowing that now, I do kind of like this moment where she's like, yeah, maybe one day you'll be Ray, because it does kind of tie back into the show of being like, oh yeah, it's man, this was a gift to man, but man wasn't Ray. So that's kind of a nice thing, bringing it back around. Yeah, I kind of dig that. All right. You okay, buddy? How'd you like the film? You're not even in frame. But yeah, anything else that you want to say about this?
Nope, not really.
Yeah. So there you go. Happy holidays, everybody. I hope that you guys all have a wonderful holiday season. I hope you guys all watch Gremlins. Watch Gremlins too while you're at. But that is it for our Christmas-themed horror films. Starting after this, since it's the end of the year / the beginning of a new year, we're going to start looking back at some of the horror films that came out in 2025 that we missed and did not get a chance to talk about. So coming up next, speaking of having the dog here, we are going to be reviewing Good Boy, which is the film about an owner who gets possessed by the devil, told by the point of view of the dog. A plot that is going to make you cry just from the premise. So enjoy that, everybody. Come back next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.